Hello. Hello. Is anyone out there? New setup. I have no idea if any of this is going to work. Harand. Hello. Daz. Hello. Sound quality is not good. Okay. How is that? Better? Quecko? Connor? Hello? Hello? Okay. Had the wrong mic selected, so off to a good start. Julian, hello. Connor, hello. I can't remember if I already said hello, but hello, hello. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Mine is going okay now that I think everything is working, but we'll see. Is that a statement or a command? Right. Lanny, hello. Okay. Good day. Right. Refactor. Gonna do some shenanigans. I've had some. I've been thinking. Sound looks shit. Nice. Slappy, hello. I've been thinking quite deeply about text rendering. I believe the issue with RenderDoc, or at least according to the Oracle, is that something mixing OpenGL and DirectX it doesn't like. Which is strange because I've definitely had it working before on previous projects, but maybe they've made some updates. So I think the actual correct answer might be just use a library like FreeType, but for now, it's gonna not use RenderDoc. I think you can detect the presence of RenderDoc because it injects a DLL, so we could just disable the UI, like the in-game UI for RenderDoc. I haven't decided yet. So we'll see. I don't know what MSDFGen is, but if you recommend it, then I'm sure it's got a brilliant C interface. So yeah, and then also I think something I don't think I want to unpre-multiply the alpha because the GL source 1, GL source alpha 1 minus should account for that. So I think we need to strip that out. Someone pointed out that one of my offsets was wrong, which is almost certainly correct. So I need to move that. No, I'm done with Blender. Done. Out. Done. Until I need it again. I do like CMake. I mean, maybe we should get Blender out because I can render a lot faster now on my new rig, which would be fun. Well, what was I saying? And then something DPI. I think I've just assumed like 92, which is probably not the case on my monitor. So I think I need to have some DPI awareness. But the first thing I want to do is just take what we got and refactor it because there's a lot of hard-coded misery and it's not particularly extensible. So I wanted to kind of get all that tidied up today so we can just add labels when we want. Might even need the ability to remove them and unload them from OpenGL when we no longer want them. Potentially add an FPS counter. I don't know. Get all that done and then basically see where we are for time because I do want to move on to pause menus and intro menu and that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll see where we get to. I'm gonna see if this button works. I think it works. It looks like it's cut off like a little bit here, or is that just like the aliasing on my screen? Oh, it might just be the way it's OBS has shrunk it down. Never mind. Okay. I just there's something I really truly resonate with that sentiment, and that a ping importer is too much to do. So PPM is the one true image format. It's hard for me to explain how much that resonates with me. Okay, so one thing I wanted to do is kind of tidy up the build system while we're here. So I import everything over. This is a brand new WSL instance. I have built it and run it at least once without making any changes to the code. And despite me realizing I left all the assets on my old PC because they're not checked into Git and then having to dig that out of the garage and replug it all in to extract those, it now does work. I want to take this opportunity to kind of abstract away some of the misery that I keep having to do and basically make a top level make file which does like just builds the game target, or just rebuilds the resources, or just runs the tests. I think that for like 5-10 minutes is a useful bit of time spent. So at the moment I have to be like this. I'm just going to see if I can copy that out. So what I want is a make file, and it'll be like something like config that. But I've also upgraded CMake to 4, and there's now a few interesting warnings in there about things they've changed, but I have chosen to ignore them. So I think I want this, right? So this just allows me to do make config, and this will make the config still out of source, but I don't have to be in the build directory anymore. I don't think it's going to be too bad. So then, oh no, I want envim. Sorry. So then I want like something like resources. Oh, I definitely don't want Copilot in here. He can go away. Harand, paying your tithe. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah. You realize that there's no more freebies this month, and you're like, just do it. New video soon. I'm editing at the moment. This is going to be a recurring theme, but I left all the Ghidra files and a lot of like the tools I built on my old machine. Luckily, most of the code is in Git. I just need to rebuild it, and my notes are sort of stored in the cloud. But I'm having to kind of redo everything in Ghidra, which isn't too bad because I need to take the screenshots anyway. So I'm just kind of re-going through my notes and re-pulling them out. But it's a bit of a pain. Yeah, okay. We'll go and make res. That seems, because I will forget whether it's resources or resource. So for this, I think what I want to do is do dash build dash config release dash target resource packer, because what I really want is the resource packer to be built in release, so it runs faster, because that takes a huge amount of time. Why not make a game engine out of this? Because I don't want to make a game engine. Well, so secretly, I want to make a game engine. I want to make a game. Like, I really want to go through all the pain of start to finish from nothing, making a game, and making an engine will not actually get me any closer to that. Oh, that's a good point. I'm actually gonna. Yes, that was part of my plan. Thank you. Resources, and then I should be able to do build tools, resource packer release resource packer.exe assets build resources. Sorry, yeah. My plan is to basically continue making games live, but after one's finished, do another one. But each one kind of evolves from the previous one, so I'll probably bring over a lot of the maths code and some of the rendering code and the windowing code and all the coroutine gubbins. So, and then I think an engine will form itself over time, but it's not the cut. That's more like a happy accident, a nice byproduct rather than a direct goal. Yeah, so Ninja multi-config will give us the ability to specify which config we want on the command line. So I think that's what we want. So let's try that. So let's do make res. It's got to build async. But obviously, once you built it once in release, then it should be quicker. We could even split this out into 2 separate commands, but I think for the amount of times I'm going to be doing it, it shouldn't be too bad. I'm kind of in my mind, one game project a year. I think it should take. I'm hoping it'll take about 12 months, ish, maybe a bit more, start to finish. Or I will at least be looking to wrap it up after 12 months and then go and move on to something else. Like, I still want it to be complete. It might not be fun, but it should have all the various parts. I occasionally speak the truth. Oh, I'm live. Exciting. I don't know why it's building Jolt for this target. That's a bit strange. I wonder if the does the resource packer link in the whole game library? That'd be that's probably a little bit annoying, isn't it? That could probably be better for the next project. Better separation. But hopefully once we build this once and release, it'll be a lot quicker us doing it. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Well, we'll just build the whole thing and release now and see what happens. But with multi-config, it means that I can have some things in release, some things in debug. Got there in the end. I probably actually want release with debug info in case it all goes wrong. But I mean it's just the resource packer. I mean, we haven't had any issues with that yet. I do also have VS Code set up to debug this as well. So when it all inevitably goes wrong, we can see what happens. I don't know if this is faster or slower. I think that it's the compressing that takes the most amount of time. I'm sure I did a quick test run of this earlier and it was about 30 seconds, which was, whilst it seems like a long time, it's much less than the sort of like minutes that it was taking before. We could also potentially drop the compression. Where's my Twitch numbers? There you go. Okay, not too bad. So hopefully now we can do make res in the future. That should have some sort of cache in it, so it won't completely rebuild it. And then should be good to go. So this should be cmake --build --config debug --target game. Oh, I don't think I have that installed. Where I accidentally typed my password for everyone to see. Sorry, you're gonna get 2 whacks at it. Okay, don't know what's going on there. So that in a second. I think it's about 7,000 lines. Let me just. Okay, fine. clock source. There you go. Yeah, 7,500 lines. Clocked indeed. Okay, so that works, and then FG. So then we should be able to do like run, which will be build source game debug game into the build -x 1920. Oh, I'm glad that all disappeared. 1920, and then finally tests. Make tests, whatever. cmake -build build -config debug -target unit tests, I think, and then something like build. Actually, no, it's just gonna be ctest -build dash C because it's not dash dash config for some reason. Debug dash J20. Have I got to phony those up? Dot phony config res game run tests. Space between J and 20, thank you. And then oh, is that? I might make run. If I go into build and I do ctest.c, that will work. So why is it not? Why is it not looking in here? Is it that, I don't know. Dash B? Ctest, help ctest. Ctest options, great, thanks. Oh, I like dash progress for short progress outputs. That's good. Did I provide it with the correct path? It should all be in build. Specify the direction in which to look for tests. Is that what I want? Dash test. So ctest dash test the build dash c debug. Nice. Okay. And then what was the other one? Dash progress. Nice. Okay. Not actually in run. They might not work. Dash progress. Then I think I want run to do game. I think that's the correct runes there. So that should build it first. Let's just do make tests just to check. Well, isn't each line of a makefile executed independently? So you have to CD. Doing a CD as one line won't change the directory for the rest of them. You have to do like CD and on whatever. Nice. Okay, so if I do make game, nope, make run. I've got a fast PC now, super fast. There's some jank around make files which doesn't do what you think it will do. Oh, I love that. That's great. Thanks. Don't even pay me for that advert. Outrageous. Okay, here we are. We've got our janky text in the top left. We've got our janky textures. We've got some high quality barrels, and we got whatever this misery is. It's basically done. I haven't installed a temperature checking utility yet, so I don't think HTOP has access to that. So don't know. Where's the excuse me? Don't want that. Okay, I don't know how to tell. well, you have to remember. So yeah, 32 cores and 128 gigs of RAM, but WSL only takes half the system, so it's actually 256. I think there's an option somewhere in the NVIDIA control panel, something to do off stream. We'll just have to put up with it to say. Also, it's decided to do that thing where it renders the window behind the terminal, so that's fun. Like, hello. But yeah, it's a reasonably punchy machine. This now, so just sort of idling about 40 gig of. I'm not running anything. I'm just using up 40 gig of RAM. Is there some? Probably. I think that's kind of yes, almost certainly. But it feels a little bit like polishy. But we'll see. We'll see what we get to. Oh, I've not installed LazyGit. Oh my goodness. Right. Okay. I thought I'd found everything. Has it got a decent install version for Ubuntu? Installation, Debian and Ubuntu. Bear with me 1 second. Setting this up live. It's true, yeah. And then it's the problem for a future stream. Apparently, LazyGit doesn't exist in my. Oh, that's for. Apparently, this is only for. Got some random. My favorite. Just curl this random script straight into the bash hole. I'll do that later. I'll just use the old-fashioned way. Git add -f makefile git commit m add makefile. Yeah. Well, I wanted a slightly better GPU for streaming anyway. In theory, it should be better, ? But I also needed just generally more memory anyway for editing and stuff like that. So now I feel like I'm kind of reasonably future-proof for a bit. Okay. I mean, it's using Unicode, right? So let's go to let's do this. Copilot disable. So presumably, yeah, please install LazyGit. I don't know. I really want to. I might just, in the background, start installing this. And then it's amazing how used you get to a tool, and then how very much I just do not want to be without it. And then let's sudo install this to opt LazyGit. Okay, it's opt LazyGit. Okay, so I think I've not updated my path yet, but I should be able to. Okay. Nice, back in business. Sort that out in a minute. Okay, now to do that, then I'll update the path for next time because I can't bother to rebuild. I can't bother to update all my tmux and shell and everything. Okay, that was a fun interlude. Okay, right. There is one something I want. Right, so let's go to the renderer. I think I've got ClangD and everything set up. ClangD can use up all the memory now. So we go through all the labels and we render them out. I think someone said my issue was this had to be, it was either 40 or 80. Someone said like, you're 20 off. And I was like, you are almost certainly right. Oh, that's nice. That's so much easier. We're building a game slowly from scratch in C++ with a bit of OpenGL, a bit of Lua. We've both been focusing on the text rendering from scratch with the Win32 API. It looks like arse, but we have written. Gonna get eggy with that. Indeed, yeah. So here's what we've got. We've got our absolutely dreadful hello world. I think the part of the issue for that, like I said, is it's not DPI aware. I think it's too big, which is why it's stretched. I also think we don't want to be doing some shenanigans with the text factory. I also think we don't want this. So I think we want to just fix up the RGBA, but then I think we don't want to demultiply the I don't know, should we just bang bang, right? Yeah, nice, nailed it. That's it. Linux Pro. I kind of feel your pain. Like a lot of my personal projects just sort of fall by the wayside. I just found that streaming is kind of keeps me in check because I kind of have to show up twice a week to entertain the masses and try and make some progress. Okay, so that's actually, to be honest, I wasn't even looking. Did that look any better, or did it look just as shite? Okay. G4G N. I have the NVIDIA app. Is that the same as Jesus? That's full screen. Settings, overlay, off. Nailed it. My aim is to have it fully fledged, as in like it has the concept of like a menu and a pause screen and audio and text rendering and all the components that make up a game. Like it should look like a game. I don't think it'll be particularly fun. And then I'll probably stick it on itch.io or just to throw my $100 down the drain and put it on Steam. But yeah, my goal is to learn lots of lessons for this so I can make the next one slightly better and maybe pick off, take on something slightly larger. I'm not intending to make any money off this. Okay, right. Let's just, I don't know where this has come from. Okay, ignore that in a minute. So fix up, so fix auth camera placement. And then don't multiply alpha. I'll definitely know what that means. Okay. It's in there now. Can't change it. Write once is Git. It might be the temps in the progress flag. Possibly. Julian, I'm sorry if you're having any issues. I've not seen any alerts from Nightbot, which suggests it's not that. It might be more your end. I do have the inbuilt YouTube sort of filter turned up to the maximum, but it's not normally a problem for people who are well behaved. Not saying that you're not. I'm just saying I don't really understand the issue you're having. The whole point is to learn from this. I think I want people to learn as I go. So I've been a professional C++ dev for about a decade, but never in the games industry. So this is largely me figuring this out with a bit of prior experience, as in like hobby experience. I think a lot of people get value out of seeing how I solve problems and how I approach them, because maybe I approach them in maybe a different way. I have a specific approach to writing C++, sort of certain paradigms and idioms that I like to do. I like to use like the bleeding edge, super modern, absolutely everything that I can. So yeah, definitely, hopefully people pick some stuff up. And at the very least, I will generate a lot of shorts out of this. See, everyone says nobody on Twitch is well behaved, and we can all agree no one on Kick is well behaved. Okay, let's look at the workflow for this, because I think there's some stuff that we can just kind of slowly pick this apart. So for one, like having this static auth camera with all this hard coded nonsense is rubbish. I think we can all agree. Don't want that. So let's open up the renderer. I do as well want to move a lot of the sampler stuff out into the resource cache, so I don't have to keep passing rando samplers all over the place, which does my head in. So I think this is going to need a something. Boometh Julian, sub 5 months. Thank you very much. Okay, let's do camera, auth camera. See, I actually construct the renderer with the width and the height, so this should be pretty simple to do. We should be able to just take these two, move it up, move it down, shake it all around. Pop these in here, and then push this up here, and then C2F space. Sorry, I sometimes like to just speak aloud my Vim keystrokes. And that should be width and height, and that becomes that. No, it doesn't. It becomes that. And then I delete it all, and then I go and chuck it all in and do something else with my life. Non-constant. Ugh. Rubbish. This is because I remain somewhat inconsistent. In a relentless attempt to be consistent, I have somehow made myself very inconsistent with how I represent the various dimensions. I think for me, windows and windowing code should be uints, because it doesn't make sense to have a negative width or height. But for the camera, where I guess potentially it does, because it's just going to boil down to a matrix, and all the other matrix code is floats. It's hard to say. It probably should take them probably should take these as uint 32s and cast them internally. Yeah, I guess the advantage of Twitch is that there is ad-free viewing if you subscribe, as if that is a thing you are interested in. Okay, so now this should be. I could just do an implicit cast. I know you're not supposed to, but what's a little implicit cast between friends? So this now becomes this. Oh, no, not that. So we use the label material, we bind the post, that needs to be renamed just to sprite, I think, because I just use it everywhere. The post-processing effect renders everything to a 2-triangle sprite on the screen, and then does the HDR gubbins. So I just reused that sprite because those 2 triangles are already on the GPU. So this needs to be renamed, create the model, which I think I'm gonna have to do probably. Seems a shame to do it per frame because it's never going to move, but on the off chance it does move, I'll probably just calculate it here. I don't think that's the end of the world. And then I imagine the draw calls is the heavy lifter there anyway. And you can sub for free if you have Prime. Yes, that's true. Why do you remember initialize with round brackets and then curly brackets? Because I want to do everything with curly brackets, and sometimes I forget. So I should go back and change those. I prefer curly braces because it doesn't allow for an implicit cast, which I just did anyway. If possible, avoid unsigned types. Curious to know why? I think I prefer unsigned types when I know the thing can't be negative, because I feel that conveys some sort of semantic meaning. My text is gone. Oh, don't they need to be negative? It's just the C++ syntax I prefer now. Nope, it is. It sure has gone. It's less for me about the having a larger positive range. It's more for me that it semantically conveys that it can't be negative. I have an awful lot of white and pink shirts, which I choose to wear for streaming and work. You might be right. We faffed around with this last time, and can't remember. I don't think whilst yes, there are. I mean, there are certain low-level differences between signed and unsigned, especially to do with undefined behavior and stuff like that, and potentially one might have slightly more optimizations. I can't remember the details of it. I don't think I care because it's probably not on the hot path. I'd rather code for a better user interface and then optimize when needed. Efficiency isn't always a requirement, but maintainability always is. Okay, cool. Right, so that looks rubbish, but it's what we've got. So let's refactor auth camera. FG. Ignore. Ooh, that is not what I wanted. Log. And what was the other one? Testing. I feel like I'm one keystroke there away from disaster. Here you go. Update. Nailed it. Okay. Right. I think the barrels are incorrectly placed. I think they've always been like that. I am using NeoVim. Yeah, I don't think the one-off creation of an orthographic camera in my renderer is the bottleneck of the program. Okay, I wanted to. What did I want to do? I wanted to rename this, didn't I? So I think this for post process sprite. I think we can just call this sprite. It's just a little bit semantically clearer. Rename post process sprite. Okay, let's have a look where we are now. So what else do I not like about this? Did I have to create anything else rando for this as part of this, or did it all just kind of work? I can't remember what the scene looks like. I'm pretty... Oh, I haven't got comp DB installed yet, so that's another one I need to install. My terrible toolchain. How does one install this? Pip. Ugh. UV pip install comp DB. Pip 3 pip Python 3 -m pip install comp DB. I just saw that out. I wanted my Python installation was a bit balked on my last machine. I want to properly do it. I probably want like UV, I think, for properly managing different Python versions and stuff. So, which I think I've got. UV Python list. So I'm currently using the system Python. So how does this install pip? Sorry, quick detour. Manage Python packages with pip compatible interface. That's what I want. So UV pip install compdb. No virtual environment. I don't want or system. Here we go. What's it on non? What's all this? UV. So sudo app install Python 3 comp DB. No. I don't, but I want it system wide. I want to be able to use comp DB wherever. I definitely want this as a tool. I want this installed system wide. Oh, it's UV tool. UV tool. Okay, fine. I'm still quite new to UV. I don't do a lot of Python dev. Oh, now we're cooking. So what's the magical? What good shout? Thank you for that. So comp db -p comp db -p build list compile commands dot JSON. Nice, nailed it. It's gone away. It's because on this new system I've not run that at all yet, so I didn't have the correct compile commands JSON in my root directory. Thank you. Okay, we can stop doing Python now. Not to say, I mean, I like Python. I think it's a great language. But it's not the main thrust of this project. Yeah, so the problem is I have with CMake export compile commands is that it doesn't include entries for the header file only for the translation units, and we have a little bit of header only code, which gets things a bit confused. So what is generally considered the best way of fixing this is to use something called compdb, which kind of enriches that compile commands with everything you need for the header files. Compile commands JSON just tells tells ClangD, my LSP, lots of words, how the flags that are used to compile each command, so that when it's passing this, the thing that puts the red squiggly lines in has to know what flags it uses for this, where all the includes are, what version it's under, stuff like that. Which is why it's like I don't understand std optional, because std optional came in C++17, so it needs to this file needs to, the tooling needs to know that you're going to compile this under release 17. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so what was I doing? Yeah, VS Code will make this, or Visual Studio will make this easy for you. Right, let's have a look at where all this kind of reifies itself. So I think it's in Lua level. So yeah, okay. So we have the static text, which isn't great, but it's not the end of the world because it needs to sit in here. So basically we take a pointer to the texture object that is created by the text factory. So you give this some text. I hate this. And it goes through and creates it, and then it just shoves it into here. I don't think this is too bad. I think I might just leave this for now because I don't really know what we're going to be doing anyway. Uh, 109, I think that's fine, unless you're talking about a different file. Yeah, I needed a sampler, and they're currently all the same, and I couldn't bother to create a new one, so I just slapped it in there. That is not great. I should probably create. I think I might just you know what? Let's go through and solve this properly. Resource cache. So here we have this is one of our header only bits of code. So the resource cache, it's templated on the things that you want to be in the cache, and then you can access them by name. So at the moment we have, we already have samplers in there: mesh, material, texture, and sampler. So if I go to game, we'll see we populate all the cache here with all these things. I think what we can probably do is somewhere around here, do resource cache dot insert sampler skybox, and then that. And then this can be UI. And then we can go back to the lower level, and then this here we can get rid of this. In fact, actually this whole lower level then doesn't need the skybox sampler. Or it could put it in the cache itself, but I'll keep it outside for now. Because I really hate the way this is kind of just like sort of spread across the code. It's kind of gotten a little bit spaghetti. Indeed, the mecha sampler, yeah, the God sampler. If you can't use the designated initializer, so the dot equals, there are some restrictions on the type of object you can do it with. It probably means you've either got like a non-trivial constructor, yeah, if you've got a non-defaulted constructor, then you can't designate, initialize them. You have to construct it via the constructor that you've given. So it only works for basically kind of like pure data types like structs. As soon as you slap a constructor in there, it'll be like, no, you have to call that, which makes sense because if you've gone to the effort of writing a constructor, the sort of semantics of that is how you construct the object, not by just randomly slapping their data into the members. And yes, they need to be not in C, but in C++, they have to be in order. Right, then we got there in the end. Okay, what am I doing? So this now goes away because I have access to the resource cache dot get sampler UI. I quite like how the resource cache interface turned out. I think it's worked out quite nicely. Resource cache. I almost want to get rid of it from here as well, but I think for now that means we then have to pass the resource cache into the renderer, which I don't think we currently do. I will check that now. No, we don't. So I don't really want to complicate that further. I would agree. Designated initializers are great. I'm a big fan. C++20, I think we've had this discussion before. I think I always get it wrong. That and ranges. What a great year 2020 was for the language. What a great year was for the language. Okay. Okay, so this so commit tidy up samplers. Okay, I think we're kind of there. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that I didn't like. I think these will just end up being in some sort of a container within the level, and then we'll use a range and stick it in scene. I almost think labels should probably be a span rather than a vector of pointers itself. I guess everything in here is owning. Oh no, that actually owns the labels directly. Yes, because I only wrote this the other day. The labels is has a non-owning texture. Okay. Actually, there's one thing I want to try. See what happens. Toxic, glad you're here. Glad you finally managed to catch one. It's an interesting one to catch because it's a little bit of refactoring, but I'm probably going to back around trying to fix the font rendering again. Might do it one more, about halfway through the stream-ish. Might. And the refactoring didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. Oh, yeah, look at that. Full Unicode support. It's going to be a little puzzle game. I don't think it's going to be setting expectations. Like, it's not going to set the world on fire. But yeah, probably a little puzzle game. Like these barrels, you have to move around. They move around in interesting ways depending on how you move and where you're looking and other factors around. Ooh, just slap my mouse and send us to the sky. I am thinking AO might lift this up a little bit. I'm glad you're here from Brazil to learn and practice. Having English being the only language I've ever spoken for the entirety of my life, I would not say I'm particularly good at it. Do not take any spelling advice from me. What do you mean by CJK stuff? I'm not. Oh, sorry. It should just work, right? Let's find something. Let's find kanji. I'm gonna pick something that's probably horrifically like interpreted completely wrong. Unicode kanji. I have no idea. I'm worried that I'm gonna pick a random one and it's gonna be something absolutely horrendous. It's like, oh, that's a. Oh, you should never say that, especially next to the emoji smiley face. Here you go. What's this? Apparently, this is kanji for kanji. So we'll see. See, spreading the good word of exceptions. Yeah, it's everything is just runs as fast as possible. It's not. There's no. I need to fix all that. There you go. There's a shame about the weird aliasing. Like I say, it will render whatever Windows can render because it uses Windows native font rendering system. Yeah, like I say, it's like anything Windows can render, it should render. Right, I want to try something. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to elaborate and experiment. So somewhere in here, there's some miserable. It's this, right? Is this the DPI? Is it the vertical over the horizontal? Like what? I need to remember what this magic number is, and then see if that is correct because it's the font size multiplied by this magic number, and what I suspect is these magic numbers are wrong for my PC. So have a quick look at the docs for this because there's an example, and they're like, "Oh, just slap this in and it'll work." The logical size of the font in DIP, device independent pixel units. One DIP equals 1/96th of an inch. So why have I divided by 72? No, because I think, but I think if it renders it, what am I trying to say? I think I am scaling it wrong because it's not DPI aware. I think it should be smaller and therefore less pixelated. So So this is what that argument is. And if you scroll down to, they've got an example of this somewhere. I don't create text format example. Where's Microsoft have like an example of this? I've seen it. $72 font units for an inch. No. So what I'm saying is like, but that's assuming. So it's this then, right? I might not have a 96 DPI. Let's print out what the DPI is for the monitor, and we'll see if that makes sense, because at least that way I'm writing code rather than just sort of flailing around at MSDN docs. So let's add a, what's it going to be? I think I want something like, oh, hang on. Isn't there some magical, don't you have to call this? Set the process default DPI awareness level. This is equivalent to blah, 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 blah. I think I need to call this. Okay. And then I think I can query it. Nope. So I think I want to do something like ensure that process DPI I want just DPI awareness. What header is this in? Oh, obviously. One of my personal favorites. What the hell is Vector doing there? The shell's scaling API. Okay, where would we be without that? I must clean up these header files as well. Might do that now. Set process. No, they recommend you use it as a manifest, but that's probably, if I don't get that far, it's probably building it through Visual Studio and sort of part of maybe like their sort of wider ecosystem. You can definitely do it in just an API call. Yeah, I think, yeah, get DPI is what I want. Okay, so this is set DPI aware, and then I need something from this random enum, which is per monitor aware, and then I get the handle and figure out what monitor it's on, I think. Because I have two monitors and they probably have different DPIs, so I think I should probably do this the proper way. Failed to set DPI aware. Oh, it's awareness. There you go. Okay, so I'm not expecting that to make any difference, but let's just check it runs. I think it's worth spending probably the rest of the stream having a play around with it, and then we'll just scale it after that. Again, this is just how I sort of work my way through these kind of problems. This is not something I want to spend any more time on than today. So might as well spend a bit of time looking at it, seeing if it's feasible, and then if not, we'll just sack it off and come back to it another day or scale it properly. I bet I've overzealously removed some headers, haven't I? Graphics, texture, mesh, sampler. But also, like, I have a 4K monitor, so I kind of would like it to work on mine. I missed that notification. Apologies, whatever anyone did. Thank you. What was that event? Follow a goal. Ah, okay. I could just put all these back in and then not worry about it. Why is this mesh loader? I think Clang D might have been a little bit overzealous on what it considered a unused header. Ugh, what a waste of time. Oh no. I'll just figure it out. Utils. I had to do this eventually anyway, so. Hash include utils. Where does this file live? Did I just stick it in the root and hope for the best? Apologies. Let's just get this fixed now. What you done on line 6? Oh yeah. Oh no, that's gone. Fixed it. I think that was near him having a funny 5 minutes. Where does get file live? TLV utils. TLV utils. Oh, Twitch and YouTube numbers very close. And then all the scheduler stuff. Scheduler include routines, input routine. I can't remember how many routines we had. Level routine and render routine. Okay. That work? World, hello. How have I got a link error from removing? Oh no, I bet no, I don't. And so pro Windows tip: when you find the function that you want to call, you go down to the bottom. It tells you what header you need to include, normally Windows.h, and then what library you need to link against. So I need core. VS source C VS source VS source. I'm still not used to slightly different keyboard layout. And then in here I want Shakur. Okay, while it's doing that, let's have a think about what we're going to do for window, what API we're going to want. So yeah, we want, what's the function that we want? I think we want get DPI for monitor. So you give it a monitor and the type that you want out. So this will be one of these. I guess effective DPI. I don't know what the hell is Angular DPI. Here you go. The effective MDT effective DPI. Description. The effective DPI. Nailed it. This value should be used when determining the correct scale factor for scaling UI elements. The Angular DPI, rendering a compliant Angular resolution on the screen. This does not include the scale factor set by the user for this display for the specific display. Oh, does I get DPI for window? Is that what I want? Returns the dot range value for the specified window. Does that take into account which monitor it's on? Presuming it does. Here we go. The following table indicates the return type of window based on the DPI awareness of the provided wind. So do I need to construct the window with DPI awareness, or is that magical thing I've set now for every single window I create? Okay, the DPI of the monitor where the window is located. So I think I just want that, right? And then this returns a uint. So this is running in the background. Let's do my head in. So let's just go for the window. Yeah, I think we can just sack all this off. Let's go to the constructor. So at the end of this, when all is said and done, I want to do log info created new window DPI, then do get DPI for window, window. Like 6. Great. Okay, so that was a waste of time. So it's not that then. Does it just need to be smaller? If I just make it a little bit smaller. I'm not saying you should do this. I don't even know if that's better. It's certainly smaller. And you have to account for the shift in size. What's the font size of the title bar text? Because this feels very similar to that now. And if that is a 10, then this is, I would say, the correct size. Does that make sense? Is this going to be an absolute nightmare if I Google this while this is moving around? Font size for Win32 window title. What is the title font? 9. Okay. Okay, so I was going to say it looks slightly bigger. Alias unknown. I did have a good weekend. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you did too. I don't know. I feel like I can just come back to this later. Like, it's enough for us to get some sort of semantic, like, meaning out of it. Like, I can definitely render a thing. Yeah, I'm set to 100% scaled or whatever it is. Because that's font size 10, which looks significantly bigger. Don't know. I might have a play around with it off stream. Obviously, won't commit anything up. Was just refactoring some of the font rendering code. I think it's kind of okay now. What I want to do now is work on the. We'll start working on this. I want to work on the different game states and transitions. That's a good point. Okay, let's have a quick look at that. So I ask it for like the width and height. Do you know what I mean? Like here. So I don't really see when I create the bitmap, I'm like, hey, here. So I imagine if you do this over 2 and over 2, it will. I don't think this will scale it. Yeah, but like if you look at the Windows docs for this, it's like it should give you smooth fonts and like sub pixel alien shading something or other. Yeah, that's not helped. Who knows? And then I get the width and height here. But that's just of the final rendered bitmap. I don't think any of this has like a scale. I don't think raw text layout has. I mean, it's got like set transform. Oh, well, set aliasing mode. Or set anti-aliasing mode. Presumably it has something as a default. Set text. What is set text anti-aliasing mode? Oh, it does not like that. Set text anti-aliasing mode. I will move on in a minute. Text anti-alias mode. Here we go. The default, which is the system default. And then you've got clear type anti-aliasing, grayscale anti-aliasing. Do not use anti-aliasing. By default, renders in clear type mode. It's fine. I think we'll just leave it for now. I don't think there's much to be gained from this. What I this just feels weird to me. What's the Oracle say? Give me an example of ID write text. No, ID write factory create text format. Certainly, here's an example. It probably won't work. See, this just says font size in dips and it's at 24. So what if we just sack this off and make this 10? I'm guessing a little bit here. So, but I do want to draw a line of this. Draw a line under this after today's stream and do something else. But I have to fiddle around with it for a little bit. See, that looks more like 1 point size above the that looks like it's possibly 1 point size above the title bar, which we know to be 9. I just don't know why it's there's obviously some other issue. I think dumping it to a file might help. How easy is that to do? Write wick bitmap to file. I'd be interested to see what it thinks it's rendered. I'd love to check a render doc, but it is having none of it. Create a bitmap encoder. Create. Oh my goodness. Oh god, so much boilerplate. What's my factory and all this? So many factories. Do I have a? I haven't got a wick image factory. Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Okay, fine. Let's just see what this looks like, or if we can even figure this out. So at the end of all this, let's just do it here. So I want a iWick stream. I'm going to leak all this, by the way, the best kind of code. Ensure oh, we could just you could point actually. I do have the raw image pixels. So does that mean I can just do stb include and then stb stb, oh Christ, yeah, stb right ping. Can I remember what apparently is stbi right ping. Why am I? Oh, because stb image needs the right implementation. Don't want to miss that out. Might need that. stbi, and then is it stb? Why must I suffer? Win32, right, BMP. What type is this? Include stb image right. I feel like I'm okay, there you go. stbi right ping. Oh, is it? I bet it's is it not a test.ping width height for stored ranges data pixel data width times 4. Sorry about that. I've had a bit of a 25 minutes there. Am I missing? It's a linker error. It still can't find it, but it's interesting that it cannot find it in resource packer. I guess it still has to build that as part of. Can I? I thought no, it still has to build that as part of the other one because of the dependency. So I already have that in text. I wonder if I've got a clash. I wonder if this needs to be. Oh, hate that. Yeah, it's already defined, so I don't know why something is afoot here. I feel like I'm pretty close to solving this particular misery I've backed myself into. Okay, let's step through this. It's trying to build the resource packer, which presumably transitively through one way links against the main game lib. In the text factory, it has an unresolved external symbol. I feel like it's basically this. Is that the right runes? Oh, okay. Apparently I do need more magic. Okay, nope. Where does this file exist? Is this definitely in the dependencies? Yes, I'm definitely. Here we go. So before including, define STB image implementation in the file that you want to have the implementation. Yes, I want this file and this file only to have the implementation. So when this gets built, I can't. Have I got a typo? Implementation. Okay, now I get the sprint F, which is fine. This is what this other one's supposed to fix. So it's basically saying, warning, as it uses an unsafe function, which I thought is what this was supposed to absolve me from. Curiouser and Curiouser. There's got to be some STB, MSVC, sprint F. Come on, come on. What's the magical runes that I need? It's gonna keep pasting rando. There you go. To disable deprecation, use CRT no warnings. Oh, I bet I have to put it somewhere up here. I bet I have to do it before I include Windows.h. Yeah. Oh, not wrong one. Use CRT secure no warnings. I've got that. No, it's fine. It's fine. I had it was just a transitive include issue. Okay, let's see what we've got. Oh, no, projects game. See, that looks okay. It does have this the weird grey banding in it, but I feel like if you reduce that to 100%, maybe I think we might need to make it just bigger text. Let's go with 24 like they suggested, and then we'll get them side by side. No, I did not know that, and I've not installed Photoshop yet, so I kind of want to just... Yeah, it's definitely a scaling issue. I'd say that looks pretty crisp. And definitely smaller than this. I can open it in Paint if that's what your heart desires. Ugh, bleh. Well, no, I don't think that's the issue, right? Because these are the raw pixels that we've rendered. By changing that 96, 72, whatever, it's just going to make this bigger and smaller. The issue is that when it's rendered, it is rendered much larger. Well, I think this is kind of good, right? I think this is, if this was slapped on here, I think it wouldn't look too bad. I think the issue I have is that why is this twice the size? So the question is, why am I rendering that? So at this point, at the out here for this width and height, what's bitmap width? Hey. Maybe it was my fault the whole time. No, okay. Thought I was onto a winner there. Okay, so assuming this comes out at what I expect, right? Writing this to an image produces conceptually a smaller image, which looks better. So why, when this goes all the way through to the renderer, when it gets to here and I'm like, scale it to the texture width and height, which, hang on. So when we pass in the width and the height, we save those off, and then we pass back the width and the height. So why at this point, when I'm scaling it, is it naff? It can't be to do with perspective, because there's an orthographic camera. Well, the text size is gone at this point. It's just a handle to an OpenGL buffer because I've uploaded it to the graphics card. Oh shoot! The mesh dimensions 2, isn't it? I think I even might have said, "Oh, I must remember this." Sprite. Here we go. -1 to 1. So I do want to scale it by half, or I want to make it 1 by 1. So does that mean how do I handle this when I do the post-processing then? Oh, the post-processing shader doesn't have a model. It just goes from -1 to 1. Is it device normalized coordinates, whatever it is? Could be onto a winner here. I've said that increasingly throughout this series. Look at that. That's nice and crispy. That looks good. I think that looks good. It's not 100% perfect, but I think the black lines around it might possibly be a sampling issue. Why is it now shifted? Because I've changed the scale but not adjusted the translation, because I'm translating it relative to the original sprite. When I don't is the position to do with the auth camera? Because I just halved the width and height. So I think the auth camera is set, so it's anything rendered 0, 0. I'm not at all happy with that. So magic divide by 2, happy with that, understand that. Because do I now have to divide these by 2? It's Unicode up the wazoo. It's all the code. You could probably do 0 width joiners, you could do accents, you could do the right to left. No, but the joy of doing it live is that someone will remember. Look at that, right. Font rendering, done. Onion rings, putting that to bed. We can fix the weird shading around it later. It's actually easier to read with that slight, almost like black outline on it anyway. What a journey! What a voyage of discovery. Interesting question. I poke it in as UTF-8, but I have to convert it to UTF-16 for Windows to accept it. So the answer is kind of both. It's an hour and 45 minutes from a running start, because I'd already written most of the code last stream. Then you've got, so the question is like, where can you learn software programming, C++, reverse engineering? It's quite a lot to undertake in one go. I would definitely start off with the forward engineering first. Like, reverse engineering is a lot easier when you kind of know the runes people type, draw in the sand to summon a program. There's loads of getting started like guides. Pick any YouTube video which is like learn to program, which is uploaded in like the last 6 months. Ask ChatGPT. It's kind of hard to give concrete advice because you just got to start writing some code somewhere and see if it's for you. No, I'm more than happy for Queco's pure and uncensored opinion. They might add the ability to set the color, I think, as to wrap up the stream, because I don't think I'm going to start what we've got next. So the next thing to do is absolutely outstanding. Well, that's staying. Yeah, exactly. I thought I'd type out what I knew Quicko was thinking. I could feel it. C++ gives absolutely zero poop emojis about the encoding of your text. Like, it really doesn't matter. We're all surprised to be here. Okay, that is cool and such. So let's go to create. Really wish I didn't have to pass the sampler in there. Like, it would be really nice if I could move that away, but I just don't think that's on the cards for now. Let's get rid of all this gubbins, because it's going to need a sample, because I don't want to compromise the integrity of the texture API by saying you would have to set the sampler later, correct by construction. So I don't really have a choice. I think a lot of this, we would like all these factories and stuff, I think in future we would probably just create once in the constructor and then reuse rather than having to create them every time. But for now, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's still the same issue though. Like, I feel like I should be able to just create text, not create text with some other unrelated gubbins. But for now, I think it's fine. I'm not that fussed. It kind of works okay. What I do want to do though is actually, where are we at with the committing? What does this look like? I mean, I'm going to keep that in because I feel like it'd be silly not to. So let's go make game DPI aware. Sure. Sure. Discard. Oh, cancel. Do that at the end, maybe. Log DPI. Sure. Here we go. This is what I want. Link against Shakur. Let's do commit fix font render scaling. Commit. Oh, I should dependency inject that font size anyway, so we'll do that actually as part of this. Commit better test string. So let's get out of this. Text factory. Okay, so we'll treat ourselves to a C student as well as a hash include color, and then third uint 32t font size equals 24u, and then const color equals 1.0f. I think, is that a spell that one wrong? What are my constructors for this? Ugh. No, just having a funny 5 minutes. Can I do this? Can I? I probably don't actually need to be so angry. Don't be. Why is it not like that? In value synchrony type color. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? Why is that unused variable when it's static? Also, I shouldn't need the inline if it's... Okay, fine. I really want it namespaced. Oh, is this the stupid thing you have to do where it's like... I feel like I'm flailing around at something quite simple here. Const extra can have a non-literal type of const. Why am I struggling with this? Why? It's very hot in this room. That's gonna be my go-to excuse. But I'm sure I can do. But what the interface I want is something like this, right? And that is a static type. Like I can't that is statically allocated and just exists. I hope so. But it's an incomplete type within the class, isn't it? So maybe I can't. Maybe I can't do that. No macros. Georgie, hello. Yeah, static color white, and then do something like color white equals color dot r equals 1.0. Let's declare. I must admit, this is always one of those weird nuances. I don't do it very often, and I can never remember the runes, and I always end up going through this. I don't really want to do it in a CPP file. So declare define class static in header. Oh yeah, it basically says do it as a function. No. Okay. Do want inline. Ah, but then I can't. I can't have it incomplete. Yes, but I can't declare it because this is an incomplete type until the class is finished being completed. Yeah, okay, let's just... Maybe MSVC will accept it. I don't have a CPP file. This is header only, so it's not going to work for me. What do we think then? I think this is the same issue. I'm glad someone's making some progress, because I've now basically not having a great time. I don't need pointers for this. I just want it to work. Yeah. And then can I feel like this will work, but it's this is probably what I want. It's not exactly what I want, but I think it's about as close as I'm going to get before I defenestrate this. It's fine. That'll do. It'll do. Text factory, and then from this I can default to console to color equals colors white. And then off to the text factory we go. And then here. And drop the defaults because you don't have these here. Okay. What do you mean out of line? It's pretty sure it's in line. I don't think 192 will work because they're floats. So you probably want like 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. Oh, why? There you go. Right, got there in the end. Right, okay, so now we can do static cast float. Again, I want, like, font sizes to me should be whole sizes and not negative. Oh, sorry, yeah. I mean, we can have more as we need. We can have burnt, was it blanched almond? We can have azure, another one of my favorites, which is, isn't 0 red, half green, full blue? Chartreuse. Right, what am I doing? I've got to munge this color into here somewhere now, haven't I? Which is always fun. So const auto d2d1 color equals d2d1 color dot r color dot g color dot b. And then this becomes ct comma d2d1 color. Ugh. Why? What did these? I hate everything. Enum known. Oh, here we go. No, this is what I want. I should just slap them straight in here. I can get rid of this weird. In fact, actually, and get rid of this weird double outer nonsense. T2 T D 2 T1 color. There we go. That'll work. There's only one azure in my mind, and that is no red, half green, full blue. Everything else is just a fancy blue. Is the color used elsewhere? I guess we'll find out. No, I'll double check, but I think the only other place we were using it was when we were changing the clear color to see about the weird blending issues. So let's just kind of convince ourselves that this is all tickety-boo. And then we'll go back to Lua level, and then we'll do 24U, treat ourselves. Let's do 32U, and then colors. Oh, nope. Ready for an azure poo? It's true. I will. It will just be the Dracula theme pink. It's just there's just like one or two that I've sort of picked up. So I remember, like I just always remember as I think it's sometimes called cornflower blue. I think it's the default clear color for the first XNA window you create, or a very similar blue, and that's what always stuck with me. I think they call it cornflower blue. Yeah, it's a little bit deeper than I was expecting, but hey ho, here we are. XNA is great. Would programming again. C#, like take care of all the DirectX boilerplate. Just start off with a window and an event loop. Like, oh. Conflow is 51.22.185. Okay, well, I'm not going to convert those to floats, and I'm not going to do any more. So let's comment this up. So okay, add some default colors. Set font size and color. Better default text. Discard all changes. Q FG. I will remember to bump the version. Bump version for lots of commits today. Look at that. Done loads of work today. All the shoot, I didn't push any of the tags. Oh, no, I didn't push all the tags from my old machine. I have no idea what any of these stream numbers are. Oh, what a disaster. Was this stream? It is, yeah. Okay, fine. The funny one. Outrageous. Well, I've set my SSH keys correctly. I will do a release. Someone just subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Your name is disappeared. Blood-Stained Crow. What a name. Glad you're here. Hello. Do head along to the Discord. I've not plugged the Discord once. Do head along to the Discord. There's like an extra room. There's also lots of rooms that most people are in, and it's good fun. Nightbot is on it. So what's next? Great question. Josie, hello. No, I want to do game states first. So I want the game to start off in like a kind of loading menu with some text that says like press enter to start, and it might have like just like a spinning camera around a barrel or something. That will then transition to the game play, and then you can hit, I don't know, escape or something like that, and that will go to the pause. And then from there you can resume the game or bump back to the menu. So like a tiny little, basically a very basic cyclic graph of the different states the game can be in. I think I've got, in my mind, an interesting way of doing that with the coroutines. I think you should be able to suspend yourself until a state change. So if we introduce the concept of states into the game, so like menu, running, paused, exit, I guess, when you have like a routine, you should be able to basically say, I'll suspend myself until we are in the running state. And then that routine will just not execute until the game is running, but something else might. So you can kind of see maybe how that's gonna, in my mind, that should play out quite nicely, because like when you transition to, when you pause the game, that should then send a message to put a message on the bus. The like main game routine can be like, oh, okay, we'll transition to the pause state. I will now suspend myself until we transition back into the game state. Yeah, basically, that's kind of my plan. Because we've got most of the infrastructure set up, it's just a case of adding a new awaitable type. So that's my plan for that, and then we'll basically have a loading screen, or kind of like a main screen, the game screen, and then the pause screen. Yeah, I just want to have another little play around with it. I think it could be quite fun. And then after that, it'll be sound. I'm gonna have to just rip that plaster off and start figuring it out. My face, glitter on my face. Yeah, and then we'll do sound. And then after that, it's just kind of tarting it up, like re-go over the graphics, maybe add shadows. I do want to add anti-aliasing and bitmaps. I'll probably just use MMAA, or whatever the default OpenGL one is. Maybe ambient occlusion, see how bad it looks. Indeed, just glitter everywhere. If you go back through the live stream, all these live streams are up on the YouTube channel afterwards in the playlist called Int Main to Game. They are reasonably well titled. Just find the first one that mentions Lua. I think we did it over 3 or 4 streams. There's a fair amount of boilerplates as well. In fact, actually, hang on. If you, oh, is this gonna work? Nope. GitHub. I can't remember what the control is. The command is git. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I have some of the code, but not all of it on GitHub, which I think does include most of the Lua bindings. Code, of course. Why would it be anything else? What a fool. Way behind the stream because I've not put anything more into that. That doesn't have any of the coroutine stuff in it. Anyway, I've been waffling. The release, I've spoken so much that the release is now testing. It's built. Okay, this was fun. Let's do it again Wednesday, where we'll have more fun, and we'll do state, and we'll have a grand time. I look forward to seeing you then. I'm going to have a beer because it's very hot and get out of this tiny little room, and I will catch you all anon.